Hello, this is Roger Shouse, and this is Jumpstart Rewind. This is part of our Heaven Bound podcast family. Thank you for being with us today. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. A wise man will hear and increase in learning, and a man of understanding will acquire wise counsel. I was in the local ice cream shop the other day. Hard to stay out of those places on hot summer afternoons. As I was sitting at the counter eating my treat, a couple of the workers were chit-chatting to each other nearby. The young female was complaining to the young man that he drove his car like her grandma. Since I'm in a grandparent league, I perked up and thought this would be good. I was surprised the young man had a license. He looked so young. He told his coworker that he'd been pulled over 3 times last week for speeding. That is why he was driving like a grandma, 3 times in 1 week. Since I wasn't invited in the conversation and they had their backs to me, I kept quiet. But I wanted to scream, 3 times in 1 week? What are you thinking? I'm surprised he was still driving. I expect his insurance rates will go through the roof. He acted as if it was no big deal and that the police were always looking for him. The thought occurred, he learned nothing through all of this. And that takes us to our verse today. A person of wisdom learns. He learns from the Lord. He learns from others. He learns from his mistakes. And as sad, as ridiculous as this young man's driving story was, it only becomes worse when we think about us. Consider, first, some never learn from their mistakes that they have made in their marriage. Marriage is a growing process. 2 young people, they learn about each other, they learn about life, they learn to compromise, they learn to communicate, but sadly, some never learn. They bring the baggage of selfishness into marriage, and after a few long and sad years, the marriage falls apart. They divorce. They go on their separate ways. They each find someone else, and with no lessons learned, it's the same song once again. Second, some never learn from their experience with the congregation. Family moves into town and places membership with a congregation in the area. It doesn't take long for them to realize that this congregation is different from the one that they were used to in their hometown. They notice that the people don't cater to their every whims. They are not the center of attention, and because of that, they complain that the congregation is not friendly. The leadership doesn't allow them to do everything that they want to do. And as hard as they try to change this congregation into the congregation back home, it fails. Frustrated, this family leaves. They leave with no lessons learned. They leave not understanding how fellowship works and how brethren are to be united. They leave upset because they're not the center of the picture. They find another congregation, and with no lessons learned, it's the same sad story once again. Third, some never learn from their own sins and mistakes. A weak faith allowed them to make superficial choices based upon feelings and not faith. They succumbed to lies of the devil and seeking pleasure over the glory of the Lord, and they messed up. Their sin led them to seek the forgiveness of the Lord, yet they learned no real lessons. They confessed, but they did not really repent. Down the same path again, the same mistakes, the same sins occur. Like being stuck on a merry-go-round, the same sins keep coming back over and over and over again. Now, there are ways to break that sin cycle. Change your choices, change the environment, change your friends, change your habits, get stronger spiritually. But many never do that. So round and round and up and down, in and out they go, never feeling confident for very long, never learning anything, and never the none the better. The wise man listens, the wise man learns, and the wise man will do better. Maybe it's time for us to do the same thing. Pulled over by the police 3 times in 1 week. Any lessons learned? Thank you so much for listening.